We're here at the location of where many of the dinosaur bones have been discovered in the Peace Country. We're at a place called Pipestone Creek, located 17 kilometers south of Wembley, Alberta. Many of the digs were actually up on the banks of Pipestone Creek, right next to the Wapiti River. And some of the first people to find dinosaur bones were Al Acosta of Grand Prairie and also Dr. Phillip Currie of the Tyrrell Museum of Drumheller.
First time I came up here more than 30 years ago, showed me right away that there was something here that I hadn't expected. Already people have been collecting dinosaurs for 30 or 40 years, and the material was available in the local museum. Eventually I met Al, and Al came and showed me the material that he'd been collecting along Pipestone Creek. It took us a few years before we finally got our act together because we were building the Tyrrell Museum at the time. We really didn't have much time. But once we opened up the bone bed, we were truly amazed by it. The bone bed didn't represent a new genus of dinosaur. It's a type of dinosaur that had been described in 1950 from Lethbridge. But as we worked more and more on the specimens, we realized that, in fact, it was a new species. It was a different species than the one found down near Lethbridge. And that was a bit of a surprise to me because what I was trying to develop at that time was a story about why the resources of Alberta are so rich in dinosaurs. And one of the ideas was that the dinosaurs were in fact migrating in and out of the Arctic. And that basically these are where the big herds came during the winter months so they could escape the winter cold in the north. Imagine that if you can. But so finding a new species really didn't fit my theory, but nevertheless, the bone bed amazed me. It's one of the richest bone beds I've seen anywhere in the world. We're getting up to 300 bones per cubic meter in the bone bed. We collected parts of 27 skeletons of all ages. We learned more about ceratopsian dinosaurs than we had before. We never had a baby ceratopsian dinosaur before that we recognize, simply because they weren't coming from the same place. They were scattered all over Drumheller, Dinosaur Park, and Lethbridge, of course. And so finding a bone bed where we had so many individuals that had died together as a herd was very important to advancing our understanding of, first of all, why Alberta is so rich in dinosaurs. Secondly, in what a dinosaur looked like as a baby and how they changed as they grew up. So these things all came together finally, was it last year or the year before? And we finally got the scientific publication out. This is one of the longest projects I've been involved in my life. The reason for that is very simple. As we collected the material and prepared it, we kept finding out new things. And so every time we thought the paper was finished, we'd add more material into it. So this is probably the major publication on horned dinosaurs from anywhere in the world right now. After such an eloquent talk about Pachyrhinosaurus, I thought the Premier would be interested in some sleeping material.
And here we have the Premier of Alberta, Ed Stelmach, receiving a copy of the dinosaur book during a recent visit to Wembley. And the search will continue over the next many years for more dinosaur bones in the Peace Country. From Pipestone Creek, this is Ken Connors for DiscoverThePeaceCountry.com.